Hey there, I'm Alan Firstenberg,
Hey, I'm Alice Keeler.
and we are Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs.
Alice,
Oh, Alan.
it is fantastic
Thanks.
to meet up with you here at Google Cloud Next 2025. We are in the middle of day one. We have had an amazing morning so far.
Such an amazing morning. It just feels like it's been a whirlwind.
It really has. No, it's amazing just how much the floor is huge.
The floor is huge and it's
massive.
colorful.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm surprised how easy it is to navigate around considering how big it is.
That's true. I mean, one of the nice things is there's so many partners here. There's so many other companies. No matter what you're looking for, no matter what people are looking for, whether it's development, deployment, all of that stuff, it's all out there.
I'm looking for free socks.
Free socks.
Yeah.
GitHub has some excellent free socks.
I did see that, and there was a big line.
There's a big line, but they're good socks, I've been told.
Okay.
But we're here to talk about development stuff.
Perfect.
But first, why don't you tell people who have not run across you before somehow who you are, and kind of a little bit about your background, how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so the 10,000 feet version is I'm Alice Keeler. Please Google search Queen of Spreadsheets. I am the first results, but I am a math teacher and I'm a Google developer expert for Google Workspace and I'm a Google developer expert for Google App Sheet. And what happened is I had a Googler friend and I was chatting with them on, who knows, it's whatever they used to call the chat thing. Keep changing the names. And they weren't responding back very quickly. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he said, I'm coding. I said, what are you coding in? He said, Google Apps Script. And I'm like, I'm going to learn that. And so Google Apps Script is based on JavaScript. So I just go to Codecademy and for like a week, I'm just kind of playing around with the intro tutorial to Codecademy. And I'm about to get on a plane. So I've been doing that for like a week. About to get on a plane. I have 1 hour until my plane takes off, until it's boarding. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to Google search what is App Script. So I Google search it and the methods are insert sheet. I'm like, I know what that does. So literally I went from 0 to coding my project that I had in my mind, like, oh, maybe in a year or two, I'll be able to make this project. I coded it. I made a template. I blogged it on my blog, alicekeeler.com. You can find me on everything at Alice Keeler, Keeler, and got on the plane on time. So that is how I got started using AppScript in developing.
So, but I think the great part is, what did you do before you were coding? What
did I do before?
What's your profession?
Yeah, I said that. I said teacher. Didn't I say that? I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I've been teaching math since 1999. And I'm always just looking for better ways to be more efficient in the classroom. We do not get enough time to do all the things that we have to do with our students, in addition to being present with them during class time. So,
and I think one of the great things about AppScript is that it's free.
AppScript is free. Not only that, it's also the platform that produces it is the same as the one where you code it, which is not true for other coding languages. So in order to get started with AppScript, you literally need a Google Docs, Google Sheets, or Google Slides. Well, we all have access to that. And you just go to the extension menu and it says AppScript right there, and you're able to just add your code right into it and execute it from the bounded script.
And these are all resources that teachers are familiar with, they're using on a regular basis. And this is now just one more tool that you're saying teachers and everyone has access to.
I mean, how often does someone say to you, like, why can't I do fill in the blank with Google Doc, fill in the blank with Google Forms? For example, just printing. Have you ever printed a Google form?
I haven't. Yeah.
I mean, it has gotten better, but it puts the URL of the form at the bottom and puts a bunch of extra fluff, and maybe it's going to print out 1 or 2 questions per page sometimes. It's very inefficient with space. So I'm like, I can solve this. So I used Google Apps Script that it would take all of the information from the Google form and put it in a Google Doc. And I have it in 2 ways. You can just print the Google. So sometimes the internet doesn't work, Alan.
Really?
I know. And if you're using a Google form and someone doesn't have access to a computer or the internet's down, having a paper version is pretty handy. But you know what? The verbiage on it is click. Well, you're not clicking in a paper version. So it's going to export it. It's called Form Printer. That's my add-on. It will export it to a Google Doc where now you can edit it. So you can do it in columns. You can give yourself how many rows of lines do you want to fill in your answer? Sometimes you want more, sometimes you have less. You don't have that control just natively in Google Forms. So every time you're thinking like, why can't I just fill in the blank? You probably can. The answer is AppScript.
Yeah, the answer is AppScript. How many AppScript extensions do you have in the marketplace?
I keep losing track. It's more than 30.
Yeah.
And I keep having to like recount. It's definitely more than 30.
Okay. So we're here at Cloud Next, and the cool thing about Cloud Next is at the keynote, they gave us a bunch of announcements. There have been a bunch of blog posts out about new stuff that's been released. What has been kind of the highlight of everything for you so far?
The highlight is that I used Google VO to make a video of you dancing with a computer. And I put it out on the GDE chat so everyone could enjoy.
And we will not be releasing that one. We will be releasing some other stuff with VO, but one of the cool features was that, VO was announced for public access today.
Yeah, I was so excited about that. I've been using VO. It has been incredible for video output, just creating a quick little video of different things. I asked for a video of a basketball, it's March Madness, that's bouncing and goes into a pool of money. And just like in seconds, it looks so good. I keep watching it over and over again.
What's really amazing to me about some of the videos that I've been, getting with VO has been that the incredible detail and how quickly it's generating them. I mean, I'm seeing this morning the presentation was saying, this could take a minute or so. I'm like, I don't know. All my videos are generating in 20 seconds.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've got some pretty.
Because you're using Gemini where I'm using Gemini,
right? You see, that's it, exactly. But along with VO, they announced new audio models with Chirp 3.
Yep.
They announced the new sound generation, whose name I can't remember now, and I'm
Lyric.
Lyric, thank you. They've announced that Imagen has been updated. So, now Google is saying they've got a full suite of...
Yeah, and they're the only one, right?
They're the only one.
Right, the only one that has all of the multimedia outputs.
And all of that's available on Vertex AI. So that's available for folks that are using the cloud platform.
I was watching that keynote. I've used Vertex AI very little, kind of dabbling in, because it's just so easy to use. AppScript, it is a next step up. And I'm watching this, I'm like, this is going to push me over the edge. This is what's going to get me into it. And what was really cool, though, that really is like, Alice, you can do this, is they had drop downs in the sidebar. So they showed that they added a picture of Paris. And then they're like, hey, we're going to fly around like a drone. It was just a really simple user interface on Vertex AI. So it's really bringing something to everybody where maybe it wouldn't have been so accessible before.
What I think is going to be cool is when we do start seeing those tie-ins to AppScript. So I'll be able to do something like, take a photo that I already have and tell Imagen or Gemini to modify it in some way, and then take that output and send it into VO and do this, and then add the audio to that in this way and save that on Google Cloud.
And erase the person that's photobombing you behind.
Right. So, and do all of that just by AppScript, because, this is the procedure that you do every single time.
Yeah.
Might as well just create the script to do it for you.
Right. Oh, it's super exciting.
Very exciting stuff. Now, we attended a kind of premiere last night.
Oh my gosh, I was blown away.
Which was amazing. So this was a preview. So we're in Las Vegas. Next this year is in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So we were at Sphere Las Vegas.
Let me start it off. Can I say?
Go for it.
So we go into the Sphere, and they are showing just like some hay bales, a landscape, and I'm like, as this is going on, because we're waiting, I'm like, this is Kansas. I live in Kansas. Do you know that? I live in
do, yes.
Kansas. I'm like, this is literally like me just looking out my front porch, and I'm getting really bored because I see this all the time. And then Sundar comes on stage.
But I mean, before that though, we're seeing things like, we're seeing the wind, but we're also feeling the wind.
We are feeling the
and
wind,
we're seeing lightning strikes,
which I
in the distance,
also
and we're-
have in Kansas.
So we're seeing lightning strikes in the distance, but we're also feeling the sea.
Yeah, no, it's a totally immersive experience.
Right,
It is wild.
Wild. And then Sundar walks out, and
Yeah.
the only way we really know that Sundar walks out is because they're projecting him on the screen in front of us, because he's this tiny image
He was
way down at the
little
bottom.
ant down at the bottom down there for sure.
And he explains what's going on.
Yeah, and that's when he drops.
That's when he drops the bombshell.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz.
Right. So
They're like, oh, that's why we've been watching Kansas this whole time. Fun fact: 0 of the Wizard of Oz was filmed in Kansas. Yeah,
of course not. Right. It was all filmed in Hollywood. If I'm
filmed in
right.
Hollywood.
Yeah. So what Google has partnered with the Sphere to do is take the old 35 millimeter grainy image, very grainy.
I know, and it's a square.
Right, and it was original Technicolor process, and blow it up to the full-size screen of the Sphere, but not really.
I've never been in the Sphere. This was my first time, and it's a sphere, right? So it bends, but not only does it bend, but it kind of goes behind you, because like you're sitting inside of a basketball.
It's kind of, I think of it as, if you can picture what IMAX was like when you first saw IMAX from
But
regular, but it bends. It's massive. So yeah.
I mean, I just kept kind of like looking. I'm like, oh my gosh! So you have these trees, like a canopy of trees over you, and you just feel like you're just in it. It's
a totally immersive
so
atmosphere.
cool.
Right.
Even just to that point, I'm like, this is amazing.
So
go ahead.
No, so then they demonstrated how they were taking this print and not just blowing it up to the full size, because that would have made it very interesting, but also taking it and enhancing the video so it was a better looking video on the image that it was, and making it a little larger, and then also outcropping.
Using Google DeepMind.
And then also outcropping and creating scenes and parts of the scene that never existed before.
Because of course, if you're looking at the square, you've got their parts of their heads are cut off. They're doing close-ups of Dorothy. You're not seeing her shoes. But when you're in this inside of the basketball, when you're in this sphere, you've got so much more landscape that you have to fill.
Right.
But you don't have that footage. It doesn't exist.
Never existed before. So they were showing us how DeepMind was building all of these AI processes to do that. This is technology that 18 months ago didn't exist, and DeepMind was working with Sphere and working with
the cool thing about that is it didn't exist, and they decided they were going to do it with technology that didn't exist.
Right. So they partnered with MGM, and they dug through the archives to find out what was there, what information did we have.
I thought one of the really interesting pieces about that was just really talking about feeding the model, right? You training your LLM with not just the video footage of the movie, but training it with the notes and the photos and all of the material that they have around the film that isn't even in the film.
Right, and just characterizations about the characters themselves. This is how this character would act. So that when you're saying, okay, we now need to expand it so that we see this character will eventually walk onto frame.
Right.
We know how this character is going to behave.
Well, and they might not even be walking onto frame. In the original film, you're showing the character, but there's obviously the Tin Man standing over there. They had panned in, so they're there, but now they're there all the time because it's fully immersive.
And so some of this was some truly, truly amazing technology that was going on behind the scenes. And what kind of was that?
I'm going to say a really fun math word because it's like my favorite word. Interpolate.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
But one of the things that I found kind of neat about it and kind of personal to me was, they're talking about outcropping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can do outcropping with Imagen. We've got a model that does that.
Right.
And they're talking about how we have we know what the starting image is going to be and what the ending image is going to be. And I'm like, they're releasing that in VO this morning.
Right.
Was a new
I'm like,
feature for VO.
I need this where it gives me the in-between.
Right. So yeah, this is very, very fine-tuned technology for this very, very specific application. with some very, very careful sets of stuff, but we're already seeing some of that being applied to the technology that we have available to us starting today. Which is really kind of amazing.
I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm a little twitchy. I'm like, can I just like fire up Vertex AI? And I'm not a Vertex AI user. I have logged into it and taken some screenshots of it, but I haven't really used it. So, and then I'm having severe FOMO that you were using Gemini and VO in Vertex AI, where I was just using VO in Gemini. So he's using Gemini.
Well, you know, I think
Gemini, but they're not the same.
But that's what I think one of the things that, you know, we as developers can do, and this is a developer show, so we're talking to developers, and that's that, you know, we can take these processes and take these API calls and bend them to exactly the way that we want to use them. You know, we can shape how we want this to work because we're in control.
Absolutely.
And that's vital, you know, and we build those pipelines.
Yeah, I was showing, I can't remember what the product was. I was showing somebody some product that I like. Oh, it was Vizard. So I used Vizard to cut up my videos. And then it was like, oh, there's an API. I mean, as soon as you realize there's an API, your brain just says like, look at all this stuff that I can do, because now you can have some control over what interfaces and ways that you can use any particular product.
Right. You know, one of the issues that I was having with VO for a long time was that I was giving it a prompt and I was giving it a starter image, and what it was creating was, to be honest, not what I wanted.
It was a little childish. I saw your images.
You know, they were, you know, they didn't fit my prompt fairly well. So one of the things I did was I wrote a program to take the output, take the prompt, and have Gemini tell me, does this prompt actually meet this output?
Oh.
And, you know, once you start realizing you can do that, you're like, wow, there's, you know, what else can we make these things do? So there was a ton more announcements. What else caught your attention this morning? From either the keynote or the stuff that we've been talking about the sets.
Yeah, you know, I really loved the, you know, I knew that agent was going to be the word of the day. So I'd heard that in advance, and I'm like, why is this going to be the word of the day? I'm not so sure that that's new. I mean, we've had agents before, but they demonstrated using a chatbot, but not a chatbot. You know, normally you type in you're on Home Depot, and there's the thing that's kind of helping you find what aisle, I guess, your tile is in, or whatever. You know, we've all experienced that. It's okay. I like talking to a real person. Well, now it's kind of like talking to a real person. So it would give you the option to use the text or to use your voice. And he was having like just a regular conversation, like he was talking to a customer service rep, but he was talking to an AI agent. And he's even saying things like, hey, can't you give me a discount? And they're like, well, I don't know. And the AI agent was passing it back to the manager, who's a real person who could answer the question. And in real time, the AI agent is now adjusting the interactions it's having with the customer and made the sale.
One of the other elements about that I really liked was that it was truly multimodal. So, you know, it was, you know, he's asking questions and he's saying, you know, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my flowers. And the agent was saying, well, why don't you show me? And, you know, from a phone or whatever, it just starts it up. You can take the picture and show it, and you now have this agent also processing what that was. You know, you had the AI dealing with the text understanding and the image understanding. And
I mean, I think we've all gone into Home Depot. We're talking to the guy who's selling us carpet or these different things, and we're asking him all these different questions. But here's the problem. My house is at my house.
Right.
You know, so now I'm bringing that experience right into my living room, that I can take that picture of exactly what I'm looking at rather than trying to describe it to the guy down at Home Depot.
You know, and I think what's great is Google has, again, this whole...
Say Lowe's. They did announce today they had a partnership with Lowe's.
They did, didn't they? Yes.
I do go to Lowe's. Lowe's is great.
One of the things that came across to me that they didn't point out, but I thought was interesting, was that product and a bunch of other things that have been announced and released recently kind of say, look, if you want to build it yourself, here are the tools to build it yourself. And if you want to build only some of the pieces, if there's only some things that you need integration on, here's how you do that. And if, you know, we integrate with all of these platforms, and, you know, so you could just dump your data in there. And we also have this console so that if you want your agents to just go off by themselves and talk to customers, you can do that, and then check in with you when they have questions. So it's this whole
Oh.
range of
And they have
technology.
an agent builder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, finally, something that looks like something I can do. Like, as I mentioned, I'm a teacher. I'm not a professional developer. I really do it more as a hobby, just trying to find solutions for teachers. So looking at some of these things in the past has felt really intimidating to me. And I looked at it today and I thought, I can do that.
That's great. One of the things that as a developer, I always wonder about is, I can see how this works for me, but, how do these low code or no code solutions really work for somebody else? So that's good to know. It's always a question that I wrestle with, that I'm trying, that I don't have good
Think
answers.
about really whose job doesn't need an agent. I mean, because we all think it like you'd like to have one to offload some of the questions that people are
The
asking
tedious,
you.
repetitive questions. Yeah.
I don't even know that they have to be tedious and repetitive anymore. After today's demonstration, I mean, it really is thinking and helping you through the thought process.
Yes.
So a challenge that you've had in the past is that the user really kind of has to have the right inputs when they might be just like, I don't know, I just want to make my yard look nicer.
Right.
That wouldn't have worked with a traditional chatbot.
Right. 4 years ago, when we were dealing with Dialogflow and Alexa and Google Assistant, unless somebody coded in a phrase an awful lot like that, it wouldn't have worked.
No. And so
This
just
really
like
feels
the
more
thought that I
natural.
could go, and now that I remember, they did showcase both Home Depot and Lowe's, so we can talk about it. Just the thought that I could just be on the Home Depot or the Lowe's website and being like, well, thinking about remodeling my house. And then the agent's like, well, what part of your house? What's your budget? What thing would make the biggest impact? And they could help me talk through what my ideas are to help me to get to where I need without feeling embarrassed that I want to either make an appointment with somebody or ask questions that are tough to a real person. I want a little cubby hole to hide my tampons or something. Maybe I don't want to ask a real person that. But I can have this conversation and figure out what supplies I need, and then they're going to magically be delivered to my house.
Well, the other thing that occurs to me that this does is, sure, if you're a Home Depot or you're a Lowe's, you can put the money into building this kind of system out. But if you're, the local hardware store,
Right?
you don't have that kind of infrastructure.
But
But-
you have Agent Builder.
But you have Agent Builder. You've got the tools that can do that and give you a capability just like Lowe's or Home Depot.
Exactly.
It's enabling, and that's really exciting.
I mean, I'm thinking right now as a teacher, I need one of these for parents.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't chat with parents during the day when I'm teaching.
One of the very popular skills and actions that we saw a lot of back when Assistant and Alexa were popular was these school-based agents. We were calling them agents then, where parents could just ask, what are the grades like? How do I get a hold of my teacher?
Yeah.
My student, my kid's teacher.
But again,
asking some of the
that
common questions.
requires the user to really know what they need to ask.
Right.
And one thing that it becomes really apparent to me as I interact with other parents is the school system has its own jargon and its own way of doing things.
Yes.
And a lot of times parents just don't know what to ask.
What to ask or how to ask it or who to ask or,
and really it is a system that you have to do it in a certain way or you're not going to get the services that you need. So to me, this is like a game changer to allowing people to interact better with the products and services that they use every day. But everybody can have one.
Right. So let's see, other technologies that have excited us so far.
And that
so
keynote
many.
was long.
That was a long keynote, yes. Agents, certainly. I think one of the, we're seeing Agent Builder. One of the things that was mentioned in the blogs that I don't think was mentioned in the keynote this morning was something called agent-to-agent protocol.
Oh, I did not see that.
And this is, this starts getting a little, pretty technical. But one of the exciting elements about it is, a lot of the talk with the agents was Google saying, yes, we're supporting MCP. And we'll be talking about MCP on the show soon, I promise. We've got a bunch of people lined up talking about it.
That person is not me.
But this is kind of taking it the next step and saying, if we've got agents, how do these agents need to coordinate with each other? If we've got an agent that specializes in billing and one that specializes in scheduling and one that specializes in delivery,
Oh,
they need to coordinate with each other. Using our Home Depot example,
okay.
they need to coordinate with each other. And how do we do that? what's the protocol for these agents to work together and then deliver that information back to the user correctly. So Google announced they've started open sourcing a protocol that they're using and making available to others to use as well. So that's interesting. That's something kind of keep an eye on and see where that goes.
Absolutely. So what was your favorite part of the keynote?
Oh, my favorite part of the keynote. I'm kind of waiting for tomorrow's keynote. Tomorrow's is the
Well,
developer keynote, to be
Developer
honest.
Keynote is obviously my
Right,
favorite,
right.
not just because I was part of
I
it a
was gonna
couple of
say,
years ago,
you're
or
gonna be on
maybe it is.
You're gonna be on stage again this year?
I wish. Now, that was definitely a highlight of my life, no doubt. It was exciting. To me, the opening keynote's great. It's nice seeing Sundar and Thomas get up there and all the big announcements, but I think the really fun stuff happens
Fun.
at the developer keynote. That's the one to be at. Richard Soroder knows what he's doing. It is going to be I know it's going to be a great time. I'm going to be in the front row.
It is
I'm
every year,
excited.
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Really looking forward to this. But I know they've made some other developer announcements today that haven't quite, hit the big radar yet.
Okay.
AI Studio just got a revamp.
Oh,
So
good.
it's now looking better, working faster,
I tried to use it.
I've been told it's supposed to work a lot faster now.
Okay.
And what's known as the Gemini 2.0 Live API is now in production. So for folks that are
Yeah.
looking to do that kind of streaming conversational back and forth with audio and that's now live and in a production quality setup. So that's
Awesome.
encouraging. But tomorrow we're going to be getting some more stuff, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot going on.
That defines Google right there. Is there's always
There's a
more
lot
stuff. Like, good luck keeping up. But that's why we're here, right? Is it is so much stuff, and to just have a few days where this is what we get to do is digest all the different things and have people to have those conversations with. What
Right.
did you think about that? How are you going to use it?
Talk-
This is the place to be. Google Cloud Next.
Talk to the DevRel people, talk to the engineers,
Yep.
find out really what's really going on and what it is that we need to know and kind of, what's coming next.
Yeah. What is coming next?
What is so to find out what is coming next, you'll have to tune in another time and we will cover it on Two Voice Devs.
Two voice devs.
Alice, thank you so much for joining me here
Thanks
today.
for having me. This was really fun.